Okay guys, now just in case you're wondering, the stunt man is back. Guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're gonna put the Torqhead on the 94. We get the water pump and all the stuff off it, the Optispark's off. That's pretty straightforward. Now we got to pull this hub off. So we're gonna have to get a puller on it, and we'll get Dean to pull her off. Okay, so we're pulling the damper off. She wants to turn the crank, doesn't she? I ain't gonna be able to hold that, Dean. Get a pry bar.
Yeah.
Okay, you might want to put your hand on it now so it don't fall on your face. If she fetches up, might mean we need a longer rod in there. It looks like it's going to come off. Yeah, no, the rod was long enough, good. Okay, so now we're putting on the new damper with the damper hub with the trigger key. Okay, so we got the crank hub all on. Now we're going to put on the, I don't know what it's called, but it goes where the old Optispark used to be. Okay guys, now just in case you're wondering, the stunt man is back. Okay, so we got whatever this thing's called, we got it on there. Now we got to align the crank sensor. So put this on. Okay, so you install these little nuts, and that allows this to move back and forth, and then it comes with an alignment tool. We drop this down in, and as far as I know, you want it to instructions. Okay, so that's fully down, and that there should be centered right there. So what we want to do is we want to tighten these down. That way the crank sensor is going to be right in place. But before we do that, I'm going to get under the car just to make sure. Okay, I'll get the camera up in here. I think you can see that it's centered on that 24X crank trigger. I might get the camera too close, I don't know. Anyway, that's where you have to tighten it down, and then the crank sensor will be aligned. That's what we need. Okay, so we got that all lined up so we can install the crank trigger. And it slides down on there. What size nut's that? You're going to have a wrench. You can't get a socket in there. Okay, so we get Dean to tighten her down. Okay, so now we get the hub on, we get the brains of the operation on, we get the crank sensor in, and this here's the cam sensor. So we'll look at the instructions, see what they want us to do next. Okay, so now it comes with this little yellow feeler gauge, and it should slide in, but you shouldn't have to force it in. And it seems to slide through there, no problem. Okay. Okay, without any crank sensor adjustment shims installed as per step 11, the yellow feeler gauge should not slide through. Okay guys, I removed the two 10mm bolts to get the factory computer out. So now we gotta disconnect it. Pull these little tabs here out, I think. We should just unplug. Anyway, you remove the little safety tabs out. They don't want to come out very easy because they're quite old. So there's your blue. Move the safety tab. This is supposed to be gray. That just leaves the red. Okay, so there's the old computers out. Now we'll compare them size-wise here. Okay, so I'm going to remove this here and see if it'll snap onto this new one. Okay guys, so the new computer will not fit in the original factory, whatever you want to call this. So we're going to have to go without it, and we'll figure something out later. We want to get her hooked up. Okay, so this here is the gray, or this is the black, this is the gray. That's the gray, and that must be the red. So the gray and the red goes here. So I think we want the computer flipped around this way. So we'll put the gray in first. I lost her. I don't know if that tab. Okay, so that tab's in.
Okay, if you don't really hold them out.
And the red.
These dowels, if they would have made this gasket so you could slid that on somehow with that, they would have stayed.
Okay, so the red's hooked. And next the blue. And the black. There's the black. And the coils.
Where? Oh, it's not off these. Okay. I should have had them wiped off. But yeah, I'm not going in for that.
Okay, so the coil packs are in. Now you want to feed this back down in. We're going to have to come up with something to hold this, some kind of bracket, so it don't beat around. We got our harnesses. So we get all the harnesses installed. Okay guys, so I missed out on a lot of the installation, but it's pretty straightforward. You guys seen me hook the computer up, but you didn't see us put the coil packs on. We got the coils that go on the intake because the ones for the valve cover, this here's got Corvette valve covers, and it wouldn't work, so we had to put it here. And it actually had a little cover on it, and it was too high, it wouldn't quite fit under the cowl, so we had to remove that. But anyway, it's pretty basic. You get the cable, the cable that comes with the kit comes off the computer, and it plugs into each bank on the coils. Then there's three that come up here. One hooks into where the old ignition module was, and then one hooks into the crank sensor and the cam sensor, and then there's just a little plug for the old coil wire. Anyways, we run into some trouble it's been a few days. We had to order a new crank sensor. And if you notice in the video, I was reading instructions where it said do not install the crank sensor without spacers. And of course we did. We measured the air gap, and there was one there, but what must have happened is the wheel must have been just in the right place, that there was an air gap, but then when we went to start it, the wheel hit the crank sensor. And I think that's what killed the crank sensor. So we got a new one. We got it in, and it did fire off. Problem is now we're having trouble with the tune. First it didn't want to idle. I did a little bit of work on it. We got it so it'll idle, but it's not a real good idle, and it's quite rich. So anyway, there'll have to be a part 2 to this. We're going to have to figure out what went wrong. But anyway, I'm not blaming the kit. Like I said, I think it was us that broke the crank sensor. It's very simple actually to put it all in. The only issue I'm having is with the tune. It should have started right up, but it wouldn't start at all. It would start, but it wouldn't idle on its own. And I had to mess around with some things. I'm going to have to do some more research because it's still not quite right, but it will start and it will idle. It just doesn't idle well. We're about to take it out on the road to see how it pans out. We'll let you know how we make out. Okay guys, here's another part that I didn't get on video that's kind of important. If you got one of the older OBD1 cars, this kit comes with an OBD2 port, but what you got to do, you got to wire it up. Anyway, in the instructions, it tells you how to do it. The only thing it doesn't have in the instructions is the original OBD1 port. So here's a diagram. This here will be helpful for you. This here lists what each pin in the OBD1 port is, so you'll easily be able to match up the wires for the new OBD2 port. And it's pretty straightforward. You just wire it up. I used heat shrink and solder. Okay guys, Mean Dean just had her out, and it actually runs pretty good. It don't seem to idle the greatest, but with a few changes, we got it idling pretty good. And we took it up the road there we took it out for about 10 minutes, and no issues at all. Seems to be running good. Anyway, that'll be it for this video, and we'll probably have some more videos coming up of us getting it tuned. We just got to get a wideband so we can do a good tune on it. Anyway guys, hope this video helps somebody out, and we'll catch you in the next one.